It's the early 80s. Somewhere on a highway in the American South, a truck driver is pulling over. This isn't the first time he's done this, that he's not stopping for gas. He's not stopping to help somebody, that he's looking for one very specific thing: red hair. Over the next several years, across 6 states, at least 6 women are strangled. Left on the side of the road like nothing. Like trash someone forgot to take to the dump. Police end up calling him the Bible Belt Strangler, and here's the part that still gets me. For over 30 years, basically nobody knew who this guy actually was. Some of his victims, we still don't know their names. While you're watching this, this is the story of the Redhead Murders. If you're new here, welcome. This channel covers the cases true crime forgot about. Not Bundy. Not Dahmer. You've heard those 100 times. 1978. And how it got solved. That's not what you'd expect at all. Stick with me on this one. It gets stranger than you think. West Virginia. February 13, 1983. Somebody's driving along Route 250, near a tiny town called Littleton. They see something on the side of the road. At first they think it's trash. Maybe clothes someone dumped. It wasn't. It was a woman's body. No ID. Nothing that matched any missing person. They run her through whatever databases existed back then. Nothing comes back. And at the time, nobody thinks much of it. It's tragic, sure. But it's one case. It happens more than people want to admit. Except she wasn't going to be the only one. Not even close. September, 1984. Interstate 40, near West Memphis, Arkansas. Another woman. Strangled. Found wearing almost nothing, just a sweater. This one, they actually do identify. Eventually. Lisa Nichols, 28 years old, from West Virginia. It takes 9 months. She'd lost touch with her family, so there wasn't anyone immediately looking for her. Investigators believe she was hitchhiking. Maybe picked up near a truck stop. And then gone. And then it just keeps happening. January 1985. A woman is found near Jellicoe, Tennessee, off Interstate 75. Badly decomposed by the time anyone finds her. So decomposed that the medical examiner, March. Another one. Campbell County, Tennessee. Red hair. Again. Days after that, Knox County, Kentucky. Her body left near a dump site like she was nothing. Like garbage. Whoever did this wasn't. 6 bodies. 6 different jurisdictions. 6 different police departments, none of them initially talking to each other, because back in the 80s, that's just not how it worked. A murder in Tennessee wasn't automatically compared to a murder in Kentucky. There was no shared database. No instant alert. Just paperwork, filed away, county by county. So by April of 1985, in the span of just a few months, you've got multiple unsolved murders, spread across multiple states, and one thing keeps showing up every single time. Red hair. And every single body, found near a major highway. So who's doing this? Back then, there's no DNA testing. Not like today. What investigators did have was a pattern, and it led them somewhere unsettling. Every body turns up near a major trucking route. I-40. I-75. I-81. Which gets them thinking. This is probably a truck driver. It tracks. He crosses state lines constantly. Nobody questions his schedule. He can pick someone up in one state and she won't be found until he's 3 states away, already on his next run. The press starts calling him the Bible Belt Strangler, after the region where all of this is happening. But here's the actual problem investigators are up against. No name. No DNA. Half the victims don't even have an identity yet. So how exactly do you find one guy, driving one of thousands of trucks, on the same highways as everybody else? Turns out, for a really long time, you don't. A task force actually forms in 1985. Multiple states trying to share information, connect cases that all looked the same but were sitting in different evidence rooms hundreds of miles apart. Investigators interview truckers. Hundreds of them. They cross-reference trucking logs, dispatch records, anyone who was on those specific highways during those specific windows of time. It's slow. It's manual. Every lead has to be chased down by hand, by phone, by mail. A sociology teacher at Elizabethton High School in Tennessee gives his class an assignment. Pick a cold case. Investigate it like a real detective would. 20 kids picked the Redhead Murders. Not because a teacher told them to. They chose it. Out of every unsolved case in American history, a group of teenagers in rural Tennessee decided this was the one that needed someone to keep looking. And what starts as a school project turns into an actual break in a 30-year-old case. These students start going through old files. Newspaper archives. Missing persons reports from decades earlier. Court records. Old maps of trucking routes. Cross-referencing details that investigators, who had hundreds of other open cases stacking up over the years, simply never had the time to sit down and connect. They build timelines. They build maps. They lay 6 separate murder cases, from 6 separate states, side by side, and start looking for what nobody else had time to look for. The students end up linking at least 6 of these murders to one suspect. The same man the papers had nicknamed the Bible Belt Strangler, decades earlier. And they help identify one of the victims. A woman named Tina Marie McKinney Farmer, who had been missing out of Indiana since the 80s. Read that again. A high school class did that. Not officially trained investigators. Teenagers. Doing homework. Succeeding where overworked, under-resourced detectives across 6 states hadn't, simply because nobody had ever had the time to sit with these files the way that classroom did. Their work didn't just sit in a folder either. It got noticed. Because in 2019, DNA evidence finally hands investigators something they never had in over 30 years. An actual name, using DNA pulled from Tina Marie McKinney Farmer's clothing, investigators are finally able to identify her killer, Jerry Leon Johns, a truck driver. Exactly what they suspected, all the way back in 1985. 34 years earlier, a task force with no DNA technology and no shared databases had already guessed his profession right. They just never had a name to put on it. Someone who's on the road constantly, crossing state lines for a living, who could grab someone in one state and be long gone before she was even found in another. But here's the part that's genuinely infuriating. Johns was already dead by the time they confirmed it was him. He died back in 1998. 21 years before his name was finally connected to any of this. Which means he was never arrested. Never tried. Never sat in a courtroom and had to answer for any of it. Never spent a single day in prison. He lived out the rest of his life, however he lived it, while these women's names sat in cold case files, and while their families waited for answers that were sitting in a lab the whole time, just not tested yet. So for one victim's family, Tina's family, they finally got an answer. After all that time. But what about everyone else? Because there are still several victims nobody has identified. And whether this one man did all of it, or just her, that's still not something investigators can say for certain. So where does that actually leave things? One confirmed killer, who died before he ever faced a single consequence for what he did. At least 5 other women, found the same way, along the same kind of highways, still technically unsolved. And there are still Jane Does out there. Even now. Even after everything you just heard. Investigators haven't ruled out that more than one person could have been involved. The truth is, we might never know the full picture of what happened on those highways between 1978 and 1992. What we do know is this. It took 33 years, a DNA match, and a group of high schoolers doing a class assignment to get this far. And somewhere out there, tonight, there's a family who still doesn't know what happened to someone they loved. If there's one thing this case proves, it's that cold doesn't mean closed. Somebody just has to look again. So what do you think? Did Jerry Leon Johns do this alone? Or is there someone else out there who got away with it completely? Let me know in the comments. I actually read every single one. And if you're into this kind of thing, the cases everyone kind of forgot about, this is exactly what this channel is built around. So hit subscribe. Turn on the bell, because YouTube won't show you these unless you do. And if this one kept you watching till the end, smash that like button. It's the only way I know this story actually landed. You don't want to miss the next one. It's even harder to believe than this one. See you there.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।